A 911 call came in from a house that had burned to the ground 28 years earlier. It was 3:14 in the morning. The woman on the line was calm. She was reporting an intruder. She was reporting it from inside the home where she had died. In the fire. In 1997, most nights, nothing happens. A woman sits alone in a small, bright room. She waits for the worst moment of a stranger's life to come down the line. Most nights, it never comes. That night, it did. And most of what happened can be explained. One part of it cannot. This is NIGHTFILE Case 004. The dispatcher's name was Diane Mercer. She was 38 years old. She had 11 years on the headset. She was the one the new hires were told to sit beside and learn from. Steady, procedural, almost impossible to rattle. If you wanted a story to fall apart, Diane Mercer was the worst possible person to have on the line. She worked the overnight desk alone. In a county that size, the nights were long and mostly empty. A welfare check, a car alarm in the cold, a drunk who could not find his own street. That night, a hard frost had everything indoors. By 3 in the morning, the board had been dark for hours. On a 911 call, a dispatcher does not have to ask where you are. The system tells her. It shows the number that is calling. Beside it, it shows the street address tied to that number. This happens automatically. It happens the instant the call connects. It happens before anyone says a word. The address that came up was 412 Hawthorne Lane. Diane had grown up 3 streets over. She knew that lot. She knew it, the way a town knows the places where something bad happened. Weeds, a gray concrete pad, a chain-link fence the county put up and never took down. There had not been a house at 412 Hawthorne Lane for almost 30 years. The voice was a woman's. The first thing Diane said about it later was that it was calm, not the brittle calm of someone holding together. The calm of someone who simply was not afraid. She said there was someone in the house. Downstairs, moving around slow, like they did not care if they were heard. Diane started working the call. How many people are with you? Are the doors locked? Is there a room you can reach? And the woman answered, the way you described your own house. She talked about the back porch door that always stuck in the cold. She talked about the basement door. She knew that house in the dark. And under her voice, there was another sound. Faint, a child, humming, the same few notes, over and over. Diane asked who else was home. The woman said, just the children. While she kept the caller talking, Diane pulled the address up on her second screen. It is standard practice. You check a location before the units arrive. What came up was not a list of old calls. It was a fire. 412 Hawthorne Lane, a house fire, 1997. It started in the basement, overnight, in old wiring. 3 people did not get out. A mother and her 2 children. The father had been working the night shift. He came home to it. The lot was cleared the next spring. Nothing was ever built there again. Diane kept her voice level. She asked the caller for her name. The woman gave it without hesitating. It was the name of the mother who had died in that fire. For a moment, the line just held. Not dead. Empty. The humming had stopped. Then a dial tone. There is a procedure for a dropped 911 call. You call it back. Every time. Diane called it back. A recording answered her. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. The line had been disconnected in 1997. She sent units anyway. You do not get to decide a call is not real. 2 cars rolled to 412 Hawthorne Lane. They found an empty lot. Frost on the weeds. The gray concrete pad. The fence still padlocked and rusted shut. No house. No car. No people. No phone. Inside the fence, There were no footprints in the frost, but their own. Here is where it should fall apart. A glitch. A prank. A story you forget by morning. But people looked. People whose job is to not believe things. And it did not fall apart. They checked spoofing first. You can make a call show almost any number you want. But spoofing only changes the number you see. The call itself still has to come from a real phone. It still has to ride a real line. It still has to cross the network to reach the center. Spoofing dresses a call up. It does not make one out of nothing. Hold on to that. They checked the simple answer. A person on the lot with a cell phone. But a cell phone gives the dispatcher map coordinates. It does not give the wired street address of a house gone 30 years. And the lot was searched twice. There was no one there. They checked the clock, because a timestamp is easy to get wrong. The recording was stamped 3:14. The center's clocks are synced to the National Atomic Time Standard, and that time matched the radio log of the units rolling out. It matched to the second, two systems that cannot coordinate a lie, telling the same time. And they checked Diane herself, because the easiest answer is that the dispatcher imagined it. But every line in that center records on its own. All of it. All the time. Whether anyone is listening or not. The call was a file. The moment it connected, her supervisor pulled it and listened start to finish. The calm woman. The house. The humming. The name. And one more person listened. There was a dispatcher named Ruth Calder. She was near retirement. She had worked the overnight desk back in 1997. The same desk. Ruth had taken the first call. The real one. The night the house burned. She had stayed on the line with that mother as long as she could, while the woman tried to get her children to a window. They asked Ruth to listen to the new recording. They did not tell her what they thought it was. She listened once, all the way through, and said nothing. Then she asked them to play it again. She listened a second time. She sat very still. Then she said it was the same woman. Not similar. The same. Except this time, the woman was calm. And this time, she was not calling because the house was on fire. She was calling because someone was inside it. They had ruled out the prank, the spoof, the stranger on the lot, the broken clock, the lonely dispatcher. So they did the last thing. They went to the phone company. Every call that reaches a 911 center crosses the carrier's own lines, and the carrier keeps a record of everyone on its own, in its own system. Far from that little dispatch room. If the call was real, it would be there. If it was faked, the real call behind it would still be there. The network remembers everything. That is the whole point of it. They pulled the records for that night. There was no call. Nothing came in at 3:14. Nothing came in at all. According to the network that carries every call ever made, that call was never made. You cannot record a call that never crossed the line, and yet you can listen to it. Diane heard it. Her supervisor heard it. Ruth Calder heard it twice and went home early. A woman sits alone in a bright room and waits for a voice to come down the line, and the voices belong to the living. But some calls were never placed, and some of them are still waiting for someone to answer. The lot on Hawthorne Lane is still empty. The fence is still padlocked, and the woman never did say who was in the house with her. This was NIGHTFILE Case 004. Subscribe, and we will tell you which file comes next. And remember, most nights, nothing happens.